Hello everybody, this is Money Mom. Welcome back to the channel. I'm doing an update on a very old video from a couple years ago called The Cost of Being Fat. Let's get right into it. I'm actually going to be sharing some things today that I haven't even told several of you. I know that most of the people that watch my channel, most are females between the ages of 40 and up. I don't get a lot of younger people watching, but I would love if for some reason you know anybody that this may resonate with or would want to see what their future could look like and they struggle with their weight. I would love if more younger people would watch this particular video. I want to talk to you guys about the update of cost of being fat. Now, I know that we can never change our past. All we can do is move forward, and anything we do in terms of our health, any good change that we make, does make for a better, healthier future. That's for sure. But unfortunately, sometimes, like my dad used to always say this to me when I was young, Dawn, and tell me if your dad or mom said this, you make your bed, you lay in it. Tell me if any of your parents ever said that motivational comment to you. It was said to me quite often. That being said, I do have to face the consequences of past and even some of my choices now that I make. I know many times when I post videos of choices that I've made that are not positive in terms of my health, my weight, it could be finances, anything. People can tell you what you, quote, need to do or should do. And many of those people are right, and many of those people are very wise. You can listen to all the advice in the world, but guess what? If you listen to it and you're not applying it to your life, it doesn't do you any good. The bottom line is when we want to make changes in our life, especially pertaining to health changes, we've got to be the ones that figure it out for ourselves and make those changes because we're the one living that life. I want to tell you guys know I'm 56, some of the cost of me being fat over these years. I've been up and down on my weight. The good news is I am below 200. I weigh in the 190s. Now it's been a little over 2 years. I did lose 78 pounds and I've kept much of it off. But I did get to 185, now I am in the 190s, and I am working my way back down, but I still have my days where that I definitely could have made better choices, to be frank with you. That being said, some of the things that my weight gain over the years has caused me is this. Now I will tell you, the most since I've been married, I got married in 94, my lowest weight I've ever weighed, and I weigh about 195 right now, 193 right in there, somewhere in there. I weigh in the 190s. But when I first got married, when I was 29, I think I weighed like 225. The lowest I got down to was about 160 at one point. That was when my daughter was 3. I looked really good, but then I slowly gained it back. I had eventually gotten up to 305. The heaviest you guys have ever seen me was 263. And I think I might have weighed around 260 or so when I first did the video, Cost of Being Fat. That being said, some of the things that it has cost me over the years, and there's a few things you don't know about me that I'm going to share in this video that are very personal. First is, obviously, clothing. That's not personal. I've told you that. I've spent a lot on clothing, up and down. That's part of the reason that I haven't gained much weight back because I don't want to have to give up all the clothes I have. If I were to gain 10 more pounds, I wouldn't be able to fit into any of my clothes. And that is definitely not frugal at all. So that's one cost. Number two, I've been all different sizes. The lowest I've ever been whenever I went on a weight loss was 120, but that was years ago. And the highest was 305. That's a big difference in clothes. That's a size 4 to a size 28, as you can see. So yo-yoing, going up and down in your weight is definitely not healthy. I think it'd be better for somebody to be 10 or 20 pounds overweight and at least maintain that than go up and down and go on these crash diets. I personally know that that has not been good for me. Number three, now I am medicated. I am on high blood pressure. Well, it's actually a water pill medicine, very low dose. I'm on a very low dose cholesterol pill just to keep it in check. But honestly, I don't think that if I would have, I don't know this, but I don't think that if I would have gotten extremely overweight, I probably wouldn't have had some of those health issues. So it's cost me more medicine, it's cost me doctor visits over the years, and so it has cost me quite a bit, that I don't think I would have had to have done. And, that adds up over time. Also, you guys can probably tell, Because of that, I do have edema and swelling. And this is the part I never did tell you. About 7 years ago, and this is when I weighed in the upper 170s, so that was one of my weight loss times when I got down. I got diagnosed because they were looking at my veins on my legs and they were concerned about the swelling. They said I have edema, which is swelling, and they did this thing on my veins and they said I have deep vein thrombosis. So I could be prone to blood clotting, which is also not good, which I really think when you're only 5'4", when you are putting so much weight on your body, that fat and weight has to go somewhere. The other thing is you've got 3 basic shapes when it comes to women. You've got a hourglass, which is really nice, where you have the smaller waist, where everything's pretty evenly proportioned. You've got pear, where you carry most of the weight in your lower body, and you have apple. Well, I'm something called, and I looked this up, I'm something called a spoon, which is even worse. I've got fat from here and fat from here. So that means I've got it in upper tummy, lower tummy, my hips, my butt, my thighs. I have it everywhere. And so I've got the worst of the worst. You know, one of my friends, or I have actually several friends that are pear-shaped. And I noticed that if you're pear-shaped, a lot of times you don't tend to have high cholesterol, high blood pressure, any of that. And I've noticed that when you tend to have more weight in your belly, that's when more of the health issues come. This is from my own personal experience. And a lot of people just assume I am diabetic. That is the one thing I don't have. My sugar is really good. Now, yes, I've lost weight. Yes, I've kept most of it off. And yes, my blood pressure's come down and my cholesterol's come down. All of that's great. But I do have to face the consequences of some of these other things. And, you know, I could lose all the weight, and every more pounds I lose, the swelling does get better, but I have good days and bad days. So I do tend to have cankles, swelling in my lower extremities, and I do have that deep vein thrombosis. And these are things that I don't think I would have had if I wouldn't have let my weight get out of control. I know I can't change the past, like I said. All I can do is move forward in my future. I can get all sorts of advice out there of telling me what to do, but I've got to figure out things for myself. I'll be kind of continuing to share along with the journey. But to be totally honest with you guys, I do what I need to make sure that I don't go above the 190s, which is great. And I have some really good days where I'm really doing a great job. But sometimes I do occasionally veer back to some bad habits again. I get back on it, but you know what? I tell you, when you've done a lifetime or since teenagehood of overeating, working on healthy habits for the rest of your life, because this isn't something temporary, it can be a challenge to just basically retrain yourself and do things differently than you have before, especially when you know what you quote is best for you. The other thing, and I know I've mentioned this to you guys before, I think it was around 7 years ago, I didn't even know I had high blood pressure at all. Because for years, my blood pressure was low. It was like 100/50. And I had just lost a bunch of weight, and I went to go visit my family in the Phoenix area. We drove through New Mexico, and it was higher elevation. And I noticed that, and I may have mentioned this, that it felt like a shade had been pulled over my eye. And I thought, what is going on? Well, I didn't have health insurance at that time. And I went to the doctor, had to pay for cash for that, and found out I had a stroke behind my eye. I had no idea that I had undiagnosed high blood pressure. I had to wait until I could get insurance before I could go to the doctor and get everything that I needed. That, I tell you, God had his hand on me during that time. And so that's why they call it the silent killer. I did not even realize that I had high blood pressure. Now I know. I can tell you how my blood pressure is because I can feel it when it goes up, because I can tell you one thing, I can really feel it when it comes down. For example, my doctor said don't eat pork, and I can occasionally have a little bite, but I'm gonna tell you, that's the one thing that really raises my blood pressure, and it does feel bad going up, but it feels even worse coming down. So I'm very aware of my blood pressure now, but back then I didn't even realize. I was walking around with 180/90 something going wee, and not even knowing. And then when I got in that high elevation, when we were in New Mexico, I didn't even know this. I was getting dizzy spells and I wasn't sure why. Well, it caused a stroke behind my eye, and I have lost a little bit of sight out of that one eye. So these are some things that I do feel that I could have avoided if I would have stayed a healthier weight. So what do I do from here? I keep trucking on, learning from my mistakes, doing better going forward. That's why on the first of each month I do a weigh-in. I'm going to be telling you the truth. And I told you guys I stay in the 190s, but I told you guys by Jan 1st I want to get to 170, and that's what my plans are still, that I do that. So let me know if any of you, if you want to share this, have made some choices or been up, if any of you are overweight, and because of you being overweight, if it has caused some health issues. And by the way, I don't expect any empathy. I know that I brought all this on myself, and only I can fix some of these things. And the good news is my health is getting better, and I'm doing better, but I can do better than where I am now. So let me know what you guys think of this. You can let me know any thoughts you have. I love you. I appreciate you. And like always, I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.